When we saw that there was the 10-year guarantee coming with the new build and being accredited for that, that was actually a really big selling point for us. Because as I've mentioned, sometimes you feel like you're not quite sure what you're going to be buying, and you hope it turns out as well as you'd planned. And with all the housing issues that have happened across Auckland and all the nervousness around what if there's more issues with, you know, the new builds going up and so on, having that guarantee just gave us that confidence and reassurance that you've got that length of time where you can feel safe and reassured in your home, and if anything needs addressing, that it's covered by that. So that actually was, a really positive thing for us, and one of the things we noticed when looking at this property, that it was being covered by that. And I think without that, we might have thought twice, but knowing we had that as well as all the design and all the specs and all that, it kind of just brought it all together in a really positive way, and helped our confidence around what we was actually getting ourselves into and what we was buying.
When you started the build sort of process, you talked about the quality of the specs and things.
Yep.
You read the specs and the plans. So do you think that quality used for the construction of your home was up to par?
Absolutely. To be honest, I think it was better than we was expecting. Like, you get so much from a spec, of course, but actually when we started to see our home go up, we kind of live around the corner, so we kept looking at the property and saw the build, and actually when we got our home, we were really happy with the materials. We just felt, you didn't walk in and feel like it was cheap, like you do with some new builds. We actually walked in, felt it was a quality home. The furnishings were really nice. There was nice warm colours. It was really good workmanship. The walls, like, just the paint jobs, like the little things were literally spotless. And I'm not just saying that, I genuinely mean that. And it's the little touches, like the little black taps, and there's a little light outside the back door, classed as back door. Those little touches that make a difference, and you don't see all those on the plan. So the fact that they'd been given and quality materials were used, we were actually more impressed than we thought we was going to be. And we was already confident in what we were buying. When we got it, it was like, phew, we can relax. We've got a really good home. And yes, even the bathroom I think is really important, and the quality materials that we use. We really like the shower, and one big thing for me as well was having lots of wardrobe space, and actually not just you open the door and it's blank, but like the little things that are put in, the little drawers, the little rails and all that, which help you organise your clothing, like stuff like that. It's just those little extra things added that really make a difference. So yeah, we were really impressed with the build.
What about when you had problems or issues? How did you address these?
We were very impressed throughout the whole experience that we got a quick response. We got detailed responses. We got shared plans. I would say the responses from BCG and the developer went above and beyond, to be honest. It wasn't a case of, oh, you've bought the place now, you kind of will just get what you're given and we don't need to worry. All the time there was a good response, very welcoming in terms of our queries and our questions. So I honestly, I can't rate them enough in terms of responding to those queries. And as I said, for us, we were probably more inquisitive than most and noticed the little things, and the fact that they gave us that time in the middle of a development meant a lot, and it just gave us that reassurance throughout. And so I think that is part of the process, because as I mentioned earlier, once you kind of bought and they've got your deposit, you never really know how people will be then and whether you get met with those responses. And honestly, every time we queried something, it came back promptly and satisfied our questions, to be honest. So I honestly can't fault them there.
What did you value most during the time throughout the construction of the home?
Definitely the responses and the reassurance as the development was going up. We obviously also went through a number of lockdowns during the process, and you never know what that's going to mean. That can be a bit daunting. Are there going to be delays? Is there going to be problems? What if there's supply issues? All those kind of things run through your head. And we were given heads up on things. there wasn't really much of a delay at all. There was just, I don't think we could sign initially because nobody could be out of lockdown, but that's obviously not the developer's fault or anything. So everything still kind of went to good timing given all the constraints the developers were dealing with, which I think's amazing, to be honest. Just like I said, the time taken to satisfy our queries, and for us it was just being able to see the development go up. Like, we quite enjoyed watching our home be built, and yeah, just walking past. Whether the others on the receiving end of that enjoyed that process, but yeah, it was fascinating for us to see it from being a hole in the ground to suddenly we're in a home. So yeah, I just find that really interesting. And for me, like I said, I've never been in a new home. I've never had that experience or that privilege. So actually seeing something be built into quality was an enjoyable experience.
Now, what about pre-purchase inspection? Did you do one of those yourself?
Yep. There was that nice rapport. It actually felt like they cared who they were handing over the keys to and wanted to make it a nice experience for you. And I don't think you get that all the time. Though I've not experienced it before, I have heard stories. I have previously, heard where people are just rushed through things, they're not kind of answered their queries, or they didn't even get a bottle of bubbles. So, so for us it was, like I said, from start to finish actually was a really quite smooth process, and we really got to enjoy it at that last moment where we were getting our keys.
Now I've got one last question. Overall, how satisfied are you with the development?
We've really enjoyed our time settling into our new home. We've had friends over who decide they want this home. We've managed to have a few, nice little gatherings to celebrate occasions, and people have really, really talked about the quality. I think one guy who was actually an engineer himself, he was looking at all the aspects, and he was like, wow, this is a really good build, you did well here. But my personal experience is we've been able to turn this empty building into a home, and I think it was helped by what we walked into from the start, and the quality finishings and just the whole experience made it a smooth process. It was an exciting time for us, and challenging in moments with lockdown and not being able to get furniture and stuff, but we still made it work, and we at least felt like it wasn't a cold, sterile environment even with limited furniture. We're getting most of it now, which is good. But yeah, my partner and I, we've had a really nice experience here. The house, we're in the middle of winter, feels warm. The heat pump's great. Like I said, they don't go by halves with the finishings. That's a big heat pump up there, so you certainly keep the house warm. We've just noticed the people in the block, a really good community spirit, and I think that's one good thing about these kind of developments, where a lot of people are like, oh, more houses are going up, but with these little communities where you kind of all buy together, it's like a really nice warm vibe, and that wasn't something I was kind of expecting, but that's been a nice experience, and we've had drinks a couple of times with our neighbours and stuff like that, and I think you sometimes forget about that neighbourhood vibe, and this kind of brings it out of you with this sort of everyone sort of experiencing a new development at the same time. So yeah, for me, it's become a home. I'm happy here. It's quiet. It feels safe. All those things. I love the area, and I'm really happy with it. And hence why I'm happy to do this testimonial, because I wouldn't do it if I didn't have good things to say. But no, I wanted to do it because like I said, we've not always been probably the easiest buyers with lots of questions, and I wanted to actually thank the organisation for that, because I think it's important, and I think it's important for people to know who you're actually buying from. So thank you for building our lovely home.